Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick, and once again, our comrade Ryan Gertis. He is up in Alaska taking care of business on his property up there. So we will figure out how to get through this. So today, interesting enough, Friday the 13th, are you like I never asked this about you. And you would think, as much as we drink together, I would know,
Yeah, you would.
I would know things about you.
Maybe we did talk about it though, and you just don't
Don't
remember.
remember. Are you and Sabrina, you guys like superstitious or you get into the Friday the 13th stuff at all?
I'm not at all, but my dad is big time. He won't fly on the 13th. No, it doesn't even matter if it's Friday the 13th. He just doesn't. He won't fly on the 13th. He won't. Sit in the 13th row. I don't care.
I don't either. And I saw this meme or something. It might have even been a comedian, talking about how like on some buildings you go into an elevator and it doesn't have that the 13th floor, right? And they're like, okay, well, if you hit the 14th floor, you're still going to the 13th floor.
Right.
Right.
Right,
You can't unless they
You can't
completely leave it
manipulate.
empty and,
Right.
and completely vacant. Yeah, but I'm not into that stuff. And I'm sure that people listening to this don't really care about whether we're superstitious or not. But you're going to want to text the word 4 or the number 4 to 623 AZ Recon. That's 4 to 623 AZ Recon. I want to take a couple minutes and talk to are people who are on the fence and not willing to jump into the game of buying a home. And there are a variety of reasons. I get it. Sometimes people move here from a different state and they want a year just to check things. I want to rent. I want to check the areas out. I want to see where I want to live. There are some people who flat out just can't afford it, and I would challenge you to talk with someone, I would tell you to talk with Justin's team and text the word 4 into the show, 4 at 623 AZ Recon, and find out what's keeping you from being able to afford it and putting you on that path. But there's just other people that just, people are waiting for the elections. People are waiting for interest rates to drop, or people are waiting for a recession, which I always like to point out. 6 of the last 8 recessions in the United States of America, home prices went up, or people are waiting for a market to crash, which I have yet to see any data, anything behind the fact that the Phoenix area is going to crash. But I think, especially going back to rates, I think they're listening to other people. And this is where I was getting frustrated, Justin. I read a lot of news articles and talk to a lot of people and say, telling people don't buy, you don't need to buy, renting's better, and for a variety of reasons. And it bothers me because these people who are chirping in your ear are holding you back and keeping you back from building wealth in real estate. And I would ask them, if they're advising you not to buy and not to enter into the real estate market, what are they specifically doing to fund your retirement account, to send your kids to college? They're not doing jack squat, Justin.
Hear it all the time, and it's one of those unfortunate things because a lot of the individuals that we talk to that are doing that way, they're so hard-headed when it comes to it, and the source that's given them this information is so important to them. But I always like to ask them, how much real estate do they own? How many times have they purchased a home?
Yeah.
When did they purchase a home? I'd like to know when they purchased a home.
And I would ask them, what are you doing for retirement?
Right.
Like, are you just set up, or you don't have a retirement really set up? And if you don't have a retirement set up, why should I be listening to you?
Sure. And what's their opinion on the right time to buy? I want to know that, because that information right there will allow me to provide some kind of combat to their response. Because it really depends on when you're ready, right? And I feel like right now is a really good time to buy, just based on what is being given out in that market. You guys have a deal in process right now that has 6% seller concessions.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
$23,000.
It's a good deal.
You guys got it.
We know how to negotiate.
Yeah,
this
you guys
stuff.
got it below market value, and they got $23,000. And the payment on that is going to be way less than they could pay for rent anywhere for what they're getting.
All right. So what I want to, and for the sake of this example, I just going to use a round even number of buying a $350,000 first time home buyer buys a $350,000 home, because I think what the problem is a lot of people are focused either on the wrong number or they're focused on just one number. And typically that one number are interest rates. And we like to explain to all of our clients that the interest rate is just one of the numbers. There are a variety of different numbers. There's a variety of different data that you need to take a look at and not get held back. So let's just say we go out and buy a $350,000 home. We got a first-time home buyer, FHA. They're going to buy a $350,000 asset that is going to appreciate. They're going to only use $12,250. So let's just talk about people getting advice to just put it in the stock market or whatever the case is. If I go out today and buy a $350,000, or if I go out and buy $350,000 worth of Bitcoin stock or put it into a money market or whatever the case is, I have to come up with $350,000. This is how money works. This is how leverage works. In real estate, I can buy a $350,000 home only using $12,250.
Just $12,000.
So we're going to go with we're going to talk about the 4 ways that we make money in real estate. So let's not just get focused on one of the number. We know that this house will appreciate. Could we have a market correction? Could home prices go down? Absolutely. But a home that you buy today, it will be impossible for it not to be worth a lot more money 20, 25, 30 years from now. So you got to think long term. So they're predicting that home prices are going to go up anywhere between $24,000 and $25,000, or 24 to 25,000, 25%, not dollars, 24 to 25% over the next 5 years. Let's say I hang on to this piece of real estate for 30 years. I run its course, and it only goes up this 25%. I've just, in appreciation, based on that number, I've made $87,500 in profit only using $12,250.
Mm-hmm. Where else are you going to get that from? I mean,
not those people chirping in your ear.
Right.
Tell them to shut up.
The chances of you making $87,000 off of a $12,000 investment inside of the stock market is in 20, 30 years. Yeah, you could possibly do that, but you didn't have a place to live.
You always need a place to live.
Right. You didn't have a place to live, and if you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. So that mortgage didn't go down for you. Most likely your rent increased over that period of time, probably pretty dramatically, because they're going to be doing increases to combat with inflation. Taxes and insurance are going to go up for them, and they're going to want to make money on their property. But in that 20 to 30 years, you may have had 3-4 chances to lower your interest rate as well on that investment, and reduce your monthly payment. There's all sorts of things that we could keep going through, but the chances of it only going up 25%
over the next 30 years is ludicrous. We're expecting it to go up 25% in the next 5 years. So appreciation is the first way that we make money on a home. And again, we would love to have this conversation with you. We'd love to walk you through how we help people build wealth in real estate. All you got to do is text the word or number 4 to 623-AZ-RECON. That's 4 to 623-AZ-RECON. All right, so you've invested $12,250. I've now made you $87,500 over the life of the loan. This is my favorite, the other way that people make money in real estate. Your home, again, and I'm glad you clarified, you always need a roof over your head. You always need a place to live. So every month, and we call this the real estate 401k, and that's hence the name of the show and the name
Hmm.
of our team. Every month, every single month, you make a mortgage payment and or have a tenant make a mortgage payment, they're buying down your loan principal. Your home never, ever, ever, ever has to go up in value for you to wake up sitting on a ton of equity 30 years from now. So if you bought that $350,000 home and let's say the home didn't appreciate at all, which again is crazy to think, and you've made every payment and or when you move out, your tenant makes the rest of the payments and that home never goes up in value. Now you're sitting on $350,000 worth of equity.
It's wonderful. And then you have an opportunity, if you don't have a retirement, you can just do a reverse mortgage.
It's like a 401k from an employer, or they could
100%.
match it. You could put money into it, whatever the case is. But they're putting money into it, right? And you're hoping it goes up. With this, you're putting money into it, and you're buying down money that you borrowed.
You're putting money back into your own asset. You're reducing the amount of money that you're paying to the bank every single month by making that mortgage payment. It's great.
Third way you make money on a home, and I didn't print out this one, but it comes out to be about $270,000. If you buy a $350,000 home and the loan is amortized over 30 years, 360 payments, you will pay somewhere around $268,000 to $270,000 worth of interest. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but again, I need a place to live, and I'm not going to give you a specific percentage because I'm not an accountant and I'm not a CPA, but I am telling you, people who have always rented, they do not understand how incredible it is to be able to write off the interest on your mortgage when it comes down to taxes.
Well, especially investment properties. I love the write-offs that we get with investment properties. There's all kinds of ways that you can use your investment properties to write off the interest and costs of owning an investment property. It helps with making more money when it comes to tax time.
I love making money
I love
when
making money too.
okay, we love making money, but I really love making money when I'm having to prepare my taxes.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how you do it. And then the fourth way that you're going to make money is through positive cash flow, because we're going to tell you, we're going to understand you're going to go out and buy this first time home buyer, or your next home. If it's $350,000, that's just the number that we're using for our example. We know that you're not going to live in it forever. And most people assume that when it's time to go buy home number two, they must sell home number one. That's not the case. We're going to sit down and help you see this home as a income producing property. So let's say, for my example, you live in the home for 2 years, you move out and you turn it into a rental for 28 years. You now are going to have renters buying down that principal, not only for the next 28 years, but now let's just say your mortgage payment was $2,500, and let's say the rent's $3,000. So for round even numbers, that's $500 times 12 months times 28 years, just in positive cash flow. And assuming that rents don't go up, because people go, well, what if the house sits vacant, or what if this happens? That's why in my example, I don't even account for rent going up.
Yeah.
So if you got $500 a month times 12 over 28 years, that's $168,000 you've made in positive cash flow. So when I add it up, $87,500 in appreciation, $350,000 because your loan balance is paid off. Now it's equity. $168,000 in positive cash flow. That's a total of $605,500 that you've made on a $350,000 property, only using $12,250. And imagine if you had 5 of those.
Correct. And I've known people that are just so stuck on having one property, and then they've been working so hard on their 401k, and they've been working on that 401k for 20, 30 years. and they still only have $250,000 in that 401k. And they've switched homes so many times, and they just keep making the minimum down. They're paying off their debts, but they don't have that much money in the bank. And honestly, you can leverage these other homes if you did own 5 homes to create more. And this is my retirement. This is what I use for my retirement.
How many wealthy people do you know? And because you're a lender, you talk to. I know the number of how many wealthy people that would call you friend. That's very little. That's almost
Yeah.
you know. You're a cowboy. You're a hick.
Oh my gosh, you have
Am
no
I getting
idea
personal
about,
now?
No. Hey, I'm part, but
But no, that and it's not true because you wealthy people surround themselves with wealthy people.
Sure.
People who want to succeed surround themselves with people who are successful. But how many wealthy people do you know, or wealthy people that you do loans with, don't have any real estate in their portfolio?
I would say it's less than 5% that don't have real estate in their portfolio, and I feel like that's just because they're at the points in their life where they're just trying to get the I wants all taken care of. They're still wanting. They got the motorhome, the side by side, and the cool truck, and all these things that they could have used those funds to build more wealth, and they're not taking advantage of it. But one day they'll listen to what we have to say.
One day.
And they will wish they had done it earlier.
And we hope that this one day is your one day. We want you to text the word or letter the word 4 or the number 4 to 623-AZ Recon. We know that it can be intimidating. We all know people that own a lot of real estate, and we want to get there, and we don't know necessarily how they got there. Our system and our strategies are so simple to not only implement, but so simple to understand on how we help people on the path to building wealth in real estate. And we'd love to have that discussion with you. Again, all you got to do is text the word or the number 4 to 623-AZ Recon. All right, Justin, it is Friday. Typically, this happens about twice a week for me. My wife, Mindy, sends me a text and goes, "Hey, do you want to go get some wine tonight?"
That's
right?
awesome.
I know, it's great. We were talking about almost 25 years of marriage, and we're talking about like if we had to stand in front of a group and just give our secrets to marriage, I don't know how to do it, but we just still love enjoying hanging out with
That's
each
awesome,
other.
yeah.
You know, hanging out, laughing, goofing off. But she likes wine. So where would you go if you were going to take Sabrina for a wine tasting or a wine bar in Arizona or Phoenix?
So in Phoenix, we do the same. We really enjoy going and sitting down, having a glass of wine, or 2 or 3 or 4.
We don't even do that. It's a bottle. We start with a bottle. It's a bottle. It's amazing. When we first started drinking wine, it was a glass each, but now a bottle is nothing.
Same thing. There's this place in Old Town Scottsdale on Main Street. It's called Artius.
I'm writing it down, dude. Never heard of it.
Artius is a winery that is out of Wilcox, Arizona. They have incredible wines. If you like reds, they have an incredible selection of reds. And we really enjoy the ambiance of the place. It's relaxing, and they have little crackers, and sometimes they'll have charcuterie boards and things like that there. But the wines are delicious, and it's a nice, quiet place. There's not a lot of people there, even if you go on the weekend. But we're members of the place too, so we can go down there, pick up our case, take it home, and enjoy some wine while we're there. Really enjoy that place. What's yours?
Ours is, and it's a relatively new place, just opened up within the last 6 months, literally across the street from my house on Greenway and Tatum. And it's called Grapes and Hops.
Okay.
And it's small, it's intimate. they're always having wine tasting events and some really great events. And the owners are always there and they just love talking wine.
Yeah,
And you learn
so
so
much.
much. And so we're a member there. I forgot what it is. And we pay X amount of dollars a month and we get 2 bottles and it's great. I haven't done it yet, but it's a perfect place for a private event for when the Frederick team wants to host the real estate 401k group on their dime.
Yeah.
I'll get it all set up for us, pal.
I know you will. I know you will. You know, one of the coolest things about being a part of the horse community is a lot of these areas where these events are held is where there's a lot of wineries. They tend to go hand in hand with each other with the country that brings, grapevines. So we tend to go to a lot of those different communities and different areas of Arizona that you would be super surprised at how it looks. And it's fantastic. We get to try a lot of different wineries out there.
All right. Well, that's our take on wine. Again, if you want to learn how to start the process in building wealth in real estate in an easy to understand way, go ahead and text the word or letter 4, the number 4, I should say, to 623 AZ Recon. That's the letter or number 4 to 623 AZ Recon.